Welcome. This is the Palos Verdes Democrats. Huh? They're good. They're catching on. Today we have our annual Michael Hilsick's ruminations. We're so lucky to have him. This is at least the third year in a row, I think. So we feel very fortunate that he attends our meetings and talks to us about his ruminations. But before that, we have some announcements. I'm Connie Sullivan, President of Palos Verdes Democrats. I think I said that already, right? I'd like to recognize our other board members. So if you're in the room, raise your hand. If you're on Zoom, raise your virtual hand. These folks do a lot of work, and I like recognizing them. And then we have a number of new people in the room. Can you raise your hands? Who's new here? Wow. See, any of you want to say why you came? I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you feel like it. All right, nobody. Okay. A few other things. Next Sunday will be our monthly Assembly District breakfast at Mimi's at 10 a.m. So it's for Democrats in the 66th Assembly District. And there are people there from other parts of the Assembly District, not just Palos Verdes, and it's purely social. It's a lot of fun, and that's 10 a.m. at Mimi's, and we eat outdoors in case you're concerned about COVID. So I did want to say something about President Carter. I'm sure you've all heard by now that he is entering into in-home hospice care. Totally shocked by that, because just a few hours before that announcement on Twitter, I saw a video of him going to his seat in coach, economy class coach, on an airplane, and he was shaking hands with everybody on both sides of the aisle. And the person who posted it said, you know, Jimmy Carter, the people's president, you know. And then a few hours later, you know, heard that he was going to hospice. And of course, that makes me very sad. I'm sure the rest of you, but he is 98. He's had a really interesting life, especially post-presidency. He's done a lot of good. I'm going to give other announcements, and also, well, we'll get there. Next, it didn't go down. I hit the arrow. Here, I can do it. Okay. We had Assembly District elections for delegates to the state convention, and these are the results. The names in green won a spot in the delegation. The stars indicate members of our club who ran. So you can see there how that came out. Carol was the winner on the female side. Carol Ford. I don't think anybody else is here from that group. No. Okay. The League of Women Voters of Palos Verdes Peninsula is hosting what? He has to switch it too. Then I switch it. Okay, thank you. League of Women Voters of Palos Verdes Peninsula is hosting Stopping the Proliferation of Petroleum-Based Products. This Thursday, February 23rd at 7 p.m. The special guest speakers are Eva Chacoria, founder of Paddle Out Plastic, and Andy Atala, Vice Chair for Climate Reality Los Angeles. There's a Zoom link, and it can be found on our Dems website. I'm switching. Okay. Next, we're going to hear from our activism. Oh, no, this isn't activism, sorry. Volunteers are needed for the California Democratic Party State Convention, which is going to take place in downtown Los Angeles at the Marriott and in the Convention Center. And that will be from May 26th through May 28th. If you've never been to a convention, the first time I ever went, I went as a volunteer. It was in that same location. And I think I had more fun then than when I actually became a delegate. It was really a lot of fun. So if you're interested in volunteering, let us know. That's right. Okay, here's our activism chair.
Hi, I'm Carol, and right now the state Supreme Court in Wisconsin, it's a very, very critical election because right now we've got a 4-3 right-wing majority, and we have an opportunity to flip that in the April 4th election. First, we've got to get somebody into the general election. The primary is on Tuesday. So I am running phone banks from my house. There will be one tomorrow at my house for anybody who wants to participate. And then every Monday starting the first week in March until the election. And the type of issues that are going to be heard by the state Supreme Court are obviously things like, can we start having ballot boxes again? Can we, Wisconsin is one of the most gerrymandered states in the country. It's, even though the majority of registered voters are Democrats, we can win in a statewide election, a federal election, but when it's statewide and it's local legislature, we can't win. So we have the GOP in control of the state assembly there, as well as the state Senate. So that's why it's so critical that we get these maps redefined, and it's also going to influence the 2024 election and abortion rights, because they have an archaic law from 1849 that strictly bans abortion. And so all these issues are going to come up to the state Supreme Court, and that's why it's so important. So I urge you, if you don't like phone banking, fine, go to the Wisconsin Wisconsin Dems website. You could sign up for texting, for postcarding, for anything, or even more importantly, sign up to donate, if you have a couple of extra dollars. Yeah, Doug?
There are also, absolutely, people should do this. Also, Indivisibles / Swim Left South Bay doing postcarding for that very same election every Sunday. I just came from there.
Okay.
Every Sunday at noon, starting today, until that election at the Torrance Airport.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if all of you heard Doug, but if you like postcarding, that is available every Sunday now from 2 o'clock, and it's at
Noon.
At noon, which is great. So that way you can go there and then hit a meeting here. So.
Okay, what have we got next? So, you want to do that? I'm not through yet though. So we'll do that after. This is Black History Month, as I'm sure you're all aware, and we were going to hear from Harold Williams, our elected water board member. I was trying to think of an African-American elected official who represents us, and Harold is the only one, which is kind of amazing. He agreed to speak, but then this morning he had a conflict. So we still have Ann Nye, who is going to talk to us about the 1965 debate between James Baldwin and William F. Buckley in England, in Cambridge. And it's pretty interesting. She's got comments about that. So now I'm going to turn the whole meeting over to Ann, and I'll be later to adjourn the meeting.
All right. So first I want to preview the Dems meetings that are coming up. So we have one in April, and it's the theme is Yes in My Backyard to Solve the Affordable Housing Crisis. We have the honor of having Senator Ben Allen come. The reason we wanted him is that he's sponsoring this constitutional amendment, SCA 2, for housing equity through constitutional modernization. And that will be on our 2024 ballot. And it was co-sponsored by the YIMBY group, Yes in My Backyard, and they will be coming in person. So it should be a very interesting meeting, April 16th. And then in April, I'm sorry. That was April, so you passed March. Sorry about that.
Go back.
I'm sorry.
You went back.
I got that. Yeah, I'm sorry. She got me going. Anyway, March 19th. With the help of our treasurer, Al Shadbourne, we got in touch with this Solar Rights Alliance, and they're going to come speak to us on how to equitably grow rooftop solar everywhere for everyone and add batteries. And we're very happy to have them, and they're also going to be talking about just rooftop solar in general, not just on residential roofing, and also how it's a major component to reducing our fossil fuel dependency. So that would be our March 19th meeting. Sorry about that. But in terms of before we get to our main speaker, we wanted to talk in terms of Black History Month. So for those who it was back in 1965, a long time ago, right? There was a debate between, so you can go to that while I'm talking. So there was a debate between James Baldwin and William F. Buckley. And this was with the Cambridge Union Debating and Free Speech Society in Cambridge, England. And the question was, is the American dream at the expense of American Negroes? And this debate question is still painfully relevant today. At the beginning of his debate, Baldwin questioned, if the 15th Amendment wasn't honored for the last 100 years, how can he have much faith that the 1965 Civil Rights Amendment will make much difference either? So in the debate, each side had 15 minutes to debate their position. And what we're going to put up here is Baldwin spoke at 1440, at minute 1440. And we're not going to play the debate here, but there's just two snippets that I do want to talk about. But before we get to that, I want to say you should listen to the whole thing. I'm just going to play two little snippets here. At the end of the debate, everyone stood up and applauded him. And the narrator who was doing the video said he had never seen that happen before. So I encourage you to hear the full debate, but here are some key moments. So the one I'm picking is at minute 22, and he talks about how he picked the cotton.
I picked the cotton, and I carried it to market, and I built the railroads under someone else's whip for nothing. For nothing. The Southern oligarchy, which has until today so much power in Washington, and therefore some power in the world, was created by my labor and my sweat, and the violation of my women and the murder of my children. This, in the land of the free and the home of the brave. And no one can challenge that statement. It is a matter of historical record.
I mean, it takes your breath away. The next one I wanted to talk about was at 3347. And here's where he's referencing the ex-Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, who had said it might be conceivable in 40 years we might have a Negro president. It actually took 43 years, but it's an interesting take. You know, we shouldn't rest on laurels that we even had a Black president, and here he's saying why.
It may not. I remember, for example, when the ex-Attorney General, Mr. Robert Kennedy, said that it was conceivable that in 40 years in America we might have a Negro president. And that sounded like a very emancipated statement, I suppose, to white people. They were not in Harlem when this statement was first heard, and did not hear, and possibly will never hear, the laughter and the bitterness and the scorn with which the statement was greeted. From the point of view of the man in the Harlem barbershop, Bobby Kennedy only got here yesterday. And now he's already on his way to the presidency. We've been here for 400 years, and now he tells us that maybe in 40 years, if you're good, we may let you become president. What is dangerous here is the turning away from anything any white American says. The reason for the political hesitation and in spite of the Johnson landslide is the one has been betrayed by American politicians for so long. And I am...
Okay, anyway, those are just some highlights. Listen to the whole thing. We will have, you can actually just search on the Baldwin versus Buckley debate and find this video on YouTube, and we'll also have it in our newsletter. Anyway, Buckley did his response. I would just say it's difficult to listen to, just because the way he talks. But I will say, when he started out his talks, he criticized Baldwin for having an English accent. I mean, goodness. Anyway, Baldwin spoke with no notes. He spoke for 15 minutes, no notes. Buckley had his notes. Anyway, at the end of the debate, the vote was 544 to 164. It was a 4-to-1 in favor of Baldwin. So I had also read that there was a later debate between Baldwin and Buckley. And it was here in the States. And he lost that one. And the reason he lost it, he said, is he must have gone second. Here he went first. I'm not sure, but anyway, in that debate, he let Buckley get under his skin, and he lost it. Anyway, that's just how debates go. So they did revisit this question. 55 years later, is the American dream, the question was now, the American dream is still at the expense of African Americans. And this debate was between David Fromm, who is former speechwriter for President George W. Bush, and it was against Khalid Muhammad, who was a Harvard professor. I will say in that debate, Muhammad, they didn't have who won or anything, but Fromm was arguing that when you criticize America, it pacifies people. And Muhammad argued that he gives credit to people who actually challenged at every turn the status quo and rejected the notion of despair and the natural outcome of criticizing this country. So we must keep criticizing and make it better.